1, 2, 3, 4! From the Rifts!
Hey, welcome back to From the Rifts. I'm Big Will Johnson.
And Carmen Belair.
And today we're giving you an overview of Rifts. What's that, you say? What is this Rift stuff I hear so much about? Well, it's not a game. At least it's not a computer game. Rifts from Palladium Books is if you took Masters of the Universe and then you took Terminator and they got together and they had a really epic baby, and that epic baby had enough magic to fuel both Lord of the Rings and Final Fantasy, then you would have Rifts. And it would descend upon the role-playing universe as a whole and just give little geeky drops of goodness to everyone to share and share alike. And if it sounds like I am pumping this game up, you're damn right I am. I love superheroes, but boy, do I love me some Rifts. It's a robust, action-packed, over-the-top, kick-ass game that I guarantee you, once you play, you'll say, why haven't I been doing this all along? So let's get right to it.
All right. Yeah, Rifts is Palladium Books' premier line. There's somewhere between 30 or 40 books in there. I have no idea at last count. That's not to mention Rifters that are over 50. So there's a huge number of books. But the nice part is the books are generally world books or dimension books, so they flush out different corners. So if you're playing either a certain type of character or from a certain area or playing a certain dimension, you can use those books and not have to worry about the entire line at once. But as you want to go around and explore different things, you get to check those out, and so you don't have to get lost in it either. We're going to go mostly overview through what Rifts is and what the world is. The world of Rifts starts as our Earth, and basically in their past, there's an event where in South America, a couple of nations get together after like the golden age of man, where people are developing advanced sciences and technologies and this kind of thing. But during that age, two nations go to war, and they go to war with these giant power armor suits called Glitter Boys. And the Glitter Boys do so much damage that the one side decides to drop a nuke. They drop a nuke, it kills a bunch of people. And as those people die, it releases their PPE, potential psychic energy, which is kind of the magic of Rifts. And it goes into the lie lines, which are geomantic lines of energy that encompass the worlds. And it starts ripping them apart. It's just shattering the bounds of reality. It causes fires and tidal waves and earthquakes, and billions of people die all around the globe. It starts to tear the world apart so bad that it rips the fabric of reality. So monsters and demons are rifted in from other worlds, pieces of other terrain, you might get an alien jungle suddenly in the middle of a building of, middle of an area of skyscrapers. It totally disrupts everything. So that's basically what happens during the coming of the apocalypse. And the Rifts in this game is set basically roughly 300 years. They're not really sure from the future of then. So mankind now is trying to get it together, trying to pick up the pieces, but it's a shattered world. It's a world that has so many things that never existed before. So there are demons and aliens and DBs and vampires and mutant freaks all living on this planet, monsters, dragons, all on one world.
That's right. They actually figured out a way to put vampires and aliens in the same book, and it actually makes sense.
Yeah. So man is trying to recover from this, because it's all these things all at one time, and they're just struggling to pull it back together. So, for example, in the North American continent, there's only one little swath of land, they call it the Domain of Man, where the coalition states forms. It's kind of a big militaristic empire, pulls it together and starts to make life livable. Where everywhere else it's like wilderness and outback, it's small kingdoms and isolated people trying to survive or whatever. And the rest of it's monsters and demons and all these things, just
monsters and demons and aliens.
Yeah, like if you would try to drive, say you lived in, just pick someplace out of the top of my head, Arkansas, and tried to drive to Texas, you would never make it out of the state you started in. It's that bad. I mean, there are that many monsters, there are that many demons, there are just all these things there. Not to mention all the people that have been rifted in from other places. I mean, you could have been from some high-tech world, or you could have been from some magical place, and now you're suddenly thrown on this world you've never seen before, and you're trying to cope. And then, so the humans are just another thing for you to shoot at too. So, yeah. I mean, it's all this stuff. It's all great. It's epic. It's just everything.
This is really it's the kitchen sink of RPG. And it's a well-designed kitchen sink of RPG. This game is definitely more of an action-oriented game. Deep role play is possible, although I really think you'd be selling yourself short and not really getting to experience the full breadth of what the game has to offer. And what the game does have to offer is both high adventure and high action.
Yeah.
So
there's, to give you an idea of the stuff you can do, you can have giant robots, power armor, you can be a cyborg, you can be a chemically augmented human, you can be a magic user, you can be a psychic.
You can be a dragon.
Yeah,
that's right. You can be a dragon. You can, as a player character.
You can be a mutant animal. I mean,
you want to be a superhero? You can be that.
You can be a superhero. But you also, on the other end of things, you could be a vagabond. You could be some guy living out of an old vehicle.
We actually had somebody in the most recent campaign I started the GM. We actually had someone who made a vagabond. And there were a lot of people who laughed, and there were some older, wiser players who said, yes, but that person can do just about anything. They're not locked into something. And that's the beauty of playing even a vagabond in this game.
It's a great game. It's also because Rifts, the Rifts world has been like the focus of all this energy and all this disruption. It becomes sort of a hub, a megaversal point where it crosses over on all these dimensions, and so it makes it easy to get to these other dimensions. So not only can you play on the Rifts world and experience all the stuff going on there, your adventuring group can then jump to other worlds. So you could go to Hades and expensive and experience the demons and what their world is. You could jump to Faye's world, which is a kind of a space opera, a sci-fi thing. Or you could jump to Wormwood, which is a weird living planet. But you can go to all these places because Rifts is that dimensional nexus. It's the one place in the middle of the megaverse where magic is at its peak. And because it's at its peak, you can go anywhere from there.
Yeah, this is really the coming together of all these different genres, and it allows you to just move around so fluidly. Now, the book itself is really in depth and has a lot of great art in it. There's even some full color shots, which is a bit of a rarity for Palladium.
There's like 24 pages, I think.
We do have an in-depth review of the book, so you guys will get to see some of the OCCs, the equipment and technology, the races, all that wonderful stuff. We will have an in-depth look at it. We just wanted to give you an overview so that you can kind of understand just what you were getting into and why everybody's making a big deal of this Rift game. Now, there are some people out there who say, "Hey, this is an advanced game. It's a little more on the difficult side." We'll let you judge that for yourself. But I will say, even if it is advanced, trust me, the juice is worth the squeeze.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's definitely worth going out and trying. And if you're going to buy any Palladium product, I would say start with this, or at least grab this. Even if your guys are going to play superheroes, it's still worth grabbing this book to have kicking around. And then again, you can bring your superhero to Rifts. You can bring anything you want to Rifts. So if you have some long-standing characters and you get tired of playing the superhero game, well, they could find a magical portal that some evil villain opened and end up on Rift's Earth and then adventure there for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome, and like I said, it's one of those core games of the Palladium line that just brings you into everything, and you can go everywhere from there.
I think the simple way to sum it up would be this book, this particular line, it defines Palladium. It sets up the Megaverse. And so if you really want to understand most of the core mechanics for Palladium, this is the book you want to start with. And not a bad investment for a full-color hardcover.
Yeah,
so
it's a good price, too.
That's what all we really need to say about this. The rest will speak for itself. So check it out, pick up the book, and game on, as Kevin would say.
Yep.
Till next time, I'm Big Will.
And Karen Blair.
And this is From the Riffs. See ya.
See ya.